with some other districts in the area, reading the local papers have, over the last couple of years or so, having various degrees of so-called givebacks. How do you feel about teacher contracts here in Brookfield? I don't know the exact percentages, but it seems from what I keep hearing that they're regularly receiving 4% raises. And in this time of, as a financial advisor over 30 years and dealing with clients, I've just seen, as you mentioned before with your situation, people's pay being frozen, sometimes reductions. So, tell us a little bit about your feeling regarding the teacher contracts.
Well, the one thing that I think we need to be careful about, Bruce, is something I see going on in the United States in general is I don't want to make this seem like it's the teachers against the community or the parents. We have great educators out there. We have a lot of people that are really concerned and done wonderful things with my children. But having said that, you are correct in what you say, that we're in a different environment now. From what I was told when I asked them about this very issue, I was told once again that our teachers at one time were behind the 8 ball as far as being paid in Connecticut, that they weren't making near as much as surrounding towns, but I've also been told that problem's been rectified. And certainly I will look into it when I get onto the board. Right now, in this climate, teachers on average they're lucky to get 1% raise. There's been a lot of freezes. Even the governor came out and said, I'm going to fund, I think it was $250,000 into education. But he warned the teachers not to eat that money up by asking for pay raises. I think that we need to look at the situation. We need to look at what's going on in the community. And not having more knowledge right now, I'm not seeing that we can sustain these constant raises at this point.
Yeah, and I asked that question. Just point out to the audience that my daughter is a professor at a college, and she has a PhD. My son-in-law is a teacher in a public school system. They've had actually pay cuts, and they still consider themselves fairly fortunate, to have a role in their schools. So I just want to point that out to the audience that I'm well aware of, other areas.
Well, when the economy turns around, and hopefully that happens sooner rather than later, as the economy turns around, and what we could do for our teachers and everyone else, our police officers, firefighters, and everyone else, we should do if it's warranted and possible. But in a climate where people are losing money, losing their jobs, we have to take that into account too, and we don't want to get into a situation where we're giving raises and then having to lay off teachers.
Yeah. We're getting close towards the end here, but a couple of other points. First of all, is there one thing that you would want our audience to take away from your appearance as to why they should vote for you in the election?
Why? Yes, there is. Because I'm going to be an advocate for the parents, and I'm going to be an advocate for the students. I feel that I'm also going to be open. I have an open door policy at work, and I'm going to have an open door policy here. I'm going to work as hard as I can to make sure our children have the best education they can have, the best curriculum they can have. I'm going to make sure that those kids are safe in school, and I'm going to take a good hard look at the budget and make sure that we're spending our money wisely and where it needs to be spent, and if we can cut the budget in certain places, cut the budget. But one thing that the town could be assured of is if I'm on the Board of Education, I will be an advocate. And right now, obviously, I'm in campaign mode, but that's not going to change once I'm on the board, that way you don't hear from me. I'm going to encourage people to come to board meetings, encourage people to talk to me and hear what their concerns are. And that includes the administration and that includes the teachers. I want to work with everyone for the best education we can get for our children.
Yeah. I imagine, because it sounds like you're going to be proactive and helping to bring more town people into the discussion, maybe not just parents, but I would imagine you'd also want to communicate with seniors, because I know a lot of seniors, not to belabor the point, but obviously on fixed incomes and everything. So a lot of times when I've gone to some of these town meetings regarding the budget, a lot of times it's the people with children in school on one side of the issue, and then maybe retirees on a fixed income on the other. So I would imagine and speak to maybe how you're be reaching out to some of the senior citizens.
Well, I'm going to reach out to everyone, and whether you have children, whether you don't have children, the seniors have just as much vested interest in seeing us have a good school system as anyone else. I understand they're on a fixed income, and like I said, even those with children, a lot of us are working on a tight budget. I'm gonna hear everyone's concerns, and based on the input I get, we're gonna try and make the best decision that we can possibly make. But it takes the whole community being involved. It takes listening to the teachers. It takes listening to the administrators. It takes listening to the parents, and it takes listening to the rest of the community. I always believe that reasonable people could come to reasonable agreements, and I believe in. I've lived in this town now for 6 years. I think it's a really good community. I'm really happy that I'm here. I think that the people in this town will work together and will come together as they always have, and we will have a good education system. But I do think that we need more communication with the whole community.
Yeah. As I mentioned before, with my daughter and son-in-law in public education, I'm the product of public education, both through high school and my college degree, and so I understand and appreciate the roles and their important roles that they play. On the other hand, I'm generally for the budget. On the other hand, what I sometimes think people don't appreciate, my kids did not go through the school system. So I'm more than willing to pay my fair share in taxes, but if people that don't have a direct interest in the school system were to all of a sudden, of course in this economy you can't all of a sudden move, but a person like myself, to me, I look at my property taxes as complete gravy to the town. And if my home was sold and someone came in with 2, 3, or 4 children, I think that part of the equation is not getting some of the discussion that I think it should.
I understand what you're saying, but we do need to educate the children. And that's why I want to really focus on what's needed, what's not needed. You're right in what you're saying as far as your taxes being gravy. I don't know if that's the right term, but the thing is that we can't. One of the things I said during my speech at the Republican committee was I'm not looking to gut the budget, and I'm really not. I'm not looking to go in there and cut it in half. I want to know that what we're spending, we need to spend, and I want to know where we can cut the budget. When you come to me, when I'm on the Board of Education, and you say to me, Chris, you increased the budget by 5%, why? Or if a parent comes up to me and says, you decreased our budget by 2%, how are you going to educate our children on decreasing the budget? I'm going to have the answer for you. You're going to know that whatever that budget is what it needs. It was what it needs to be, and I believe, like I said, that the budget can be cut in certain areas. I strongly believe that. So if we can do that, that's great. But the one thing is you're going to be comfortable with is knowing that we're not going to arbitrarily say, well, you know what, we raised the budget 4% last year, let's do it again this year. I've seen other people in different places do that. You know, we're just going to raise the budget by maybe we did 10% last year, let's do 8% this year, without having any rhyme nor reason. You're gonna be rest assured that Chris Delia is gonna go over that budget with a fine-tooth comb, and is gonna have the answers on why we need the money, where we need the money, and we're gonna cut where we can cut, or if we can't, you're gonna have a good reason why we can't.
Okay. Well, we're going to wrap up our show now. Again, I'd like to thank our guest, Chris Delia, the Republican candidate for the Board of Education, for appearing on the show. I'd also like to remind our viewers that our air dates on Charter Channel 21 are Mondays at 4:30 and Thursdays at 7. We also post segments of the show up on YouTube, and you can locate that at www.youtube.com/Brookfield Public Advo. You can contact us if you have comments, questions, people or topics you'd like to see. So please contact us at brookfieldpublicadvocate@yahoo.com. Again, we'd love to hear from you, so please reach out to us. And again, thank you, Chris, for appearing. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
And thank you for watching this evening, and good night.